Awesome to hear you do so well so long in the game, like such a mainstay of metal. So
yeah, I think us guys, I think, all of us in the band still think we're young at heart, like we're still fucking 20 years old. Our body doesn't agree with that, but our mind is still right there thinking that, that nothing's changed, nothing's different, we're just, maybe older and grumpier. I don't know.
That could sometimes make for better music. Sometimes. So there you go. Cool things coming up now, though. You're about to go on tour with Overkill, with Destruction in the States. What are some of the cool things you're looking forward to besides Para Bellum live? Is it just getting the road again, getting to play the new album live for a lot of people that haven't heard it live yet? Where's your mind right now for preparation for that tour?
A little of everything. I mean, we're road dogs, man. That's what we do. We tour and tour and tour. We're excited because these songs, when we write these songs, most of the time when we go in the studio, we don't get to rehearse them as a band. We kind of all do our parts individually. And so rehearsals are going to start here in a few weeks. And that's when we're all going to get together and go through all the Para Bellum songs and feel out which ones are going to make the live set. But we'd really like to, usually when you put out a record, you go on tour, you put out maybe one or two of the singles and you'll play on tour. I want to play 4 or 5 songs off of this. I mean, there's a lot of good stuff that we really want to push on this record. It feels fresh, feels current. It's what we did with Chris, so it makes sense to kind of lean that way. So we'll know by the time we get ready to go on tour what we're going to have, because it gets difficult to choose 14 songs when you got 130 to pick from or so,
Good legacy to go fall back onto. If you can't decide on 5, it's like, okay, fine, we have another 100 to work with. So some of the praise that came for Para Bellum over last year, especially at the end of last year, was that Testaments keep having high consistency, high tenacity, and high overall value across the board. And that's hard to do in the eyes of a lot of long-standing metal fans, a lot of long-standing heavy music fans in general. What do you attribute any of that, even if you see it that way, what do you attribute any of that longevity of success and just overall perseverance that you guys have had for so many years?
Because there's a bunch of different factors to play and why. Because I think when I beat Cancer, prior to that, it was rough for metal, and then Cancer came out, we wrote The Gathering, I beat it, and then the scene started changing, and that's when we had a reunion with the original lineup. We got Alex, Lou, and Greg back in the band. When I was ill with cancer, I didn't think I was ever playing music again, first of all. I'd look in the mirror and go, that's not the singer Testament, and I was done. So when that benefit show came about and all those guys came there to support, and that was the first time we got on stage together and performed 1 or 2 songs that night, that opened the door for us and put us back together as a band. So we almost went into it like, wow, this is a blessing. We're actually going to go play again. I didn't think we'd ever get that chance. And wow, we got the original guys. Man, this is a blessing. So it's almost like we weren't really thinking about critiques, about press and everything. The fans, we were just enjoying the moment, being together once again, touring, going on the road and living together again. It's just a cool feeling that we relived, So I think moving forward, we were kind of selfishly writing music for ourselves and not necessarily what people thought of it. So I think it really helped us as far as focusing on making music. But then when we came to Brotherhood at Stake, I think that was the churning point, because me and Eric have always been the writers, and I've always had my 2 cents in with Eric when he gives me riffs to say, hey, I like that as a verse, or I like that as a chorus, or, we'd have different opinions and work it out. Where that record took about 2 years of that going back and forth, and it was like a nightmare. I didn't enjoy it. It was a great record, but it was tough. So going into Titans, I didn't want to experience that again. So I just said, give me all the music, just give me the riffs. I'm just going to do my best with what you give me. And what it did, and I found, is that it actually challenged me and really pushed me into an uncomfortable spot sometimes in singing over some of the riffs he had. But it actually, it pushed me to something good. I was actually starting to experiment with different voices and different textures of voices, and I thought that was cool that, after 40 years of making songs and music, that I'm still finding and experimenting and enjoying trying to write songs. And the songs really started having their own identity. So I thought, wow, we really hit on something here, kind of just with this approach. And so when we went into this record, we went the same approach. And again, all the songs, have their own individual identity, and it's working. And once again, I was challenged vocally. When I first heard the riffs, some of them I was like, Eric, are you sure? That doesn't even sound like a metal riff, but but in the scheme of things, at the end, it worked within the record, so we found a little niche lately from that record moving forward right now lately that it's a new way. And I guess, yeah, we care what people think, but we finally figured out a way to write some songs and push ourselves, and not take the easy route out, I guess, which is making for better songs,
Right. You can comfortably push yourself to be creative without trying to bend over backwards and break what you already have.
Yeah, and still just be testament, but also still have enough to be inspired by the new generation of what's going on of heavy in bands and what they're doing, because, it's a big evolution of what they've probably been inspired growing up. So what's there now? Of course, we love a lot of heaviness, but yeah, we can't be that. We still got to be testament, but we can also be inspired by that and put that in what we do, so, and I think maybe that's what we're kind of finding working with a young guy like Chris pushing Eric to some extreme limits for his playing, which is pushing me to, some extreme stuff, trying to find vocal stuff to work with, and it's working.
What are some of the bands currently of the newer breed right now, in the last 10 years even, that you have been really enjoying, that you think are championing metal well in any fashion?
I mean, there's so many to name. I'd say for me, what I take off of it is vocal style. People are really tending to grab onto really heavier, extremer vocals. I've done the Demonic record, all extreme vocal, but I don't want to do that. I want to use an influence and not try to go a direction. Because sometimes I listen to Sirius Radio and there's a lot of new bands that really sound similar vocally. Okay. Which I wish they would try to really stretch and get their own identities, I guess. So
good way to put it.
So you don't want to copy and mimic. You want to kind of be inspired. So I try to do that, and there's bands like, I know Chris and them and Eric were like listening to bands like Lorna Shore and stuff like that, and real heavy vocals. So of course, like A Love of Pain, we do some of that stuff in there, for example, some real death low stuff at the middle. And so that's kind of some of the current influence put into some of this stuff, You
have Thrash of the Titans tour. You have the big festival tour alongside things in Europe too. Anything specific in Europe you're looking forward to this year?
Well, we're going back twice this summer, which we haven't done that before. So
okay.
We skipped Europe festival season last year. Mm-hmm. So I guess maybe that's why we got a little bit more on our plate. So we're going to go at the end of June for a couple of weeks, come back for a few weeks, then go back for another 3 or 4 weeks.
2 European vacations. That's pretty cool.
That's work. I wish it was vacation.
But I like the idea of that too, though. So that's pretty cool to see. Like, instead of just having one longer trip, maybe 2 trips can break it. Do you think it'll have that flow, like actually give you some time to refresh?
Yeah, I will. And also because the weekends, of course, are all festival stuff, and you see and run into, all the bands that you don't see forever, but festivals. But we'll do one-offs during the week, a couple shows during the week, and we're going to do some with Death Angel, Metal Church. Well, are going to join us on a couple of those one-off shows. So we're looking forward to that. It's going to be a good summer. We haven't been there, so and we love going there in the summer. The festivals are great. You're not out there playing a full set. You get up there, you play your 40, 45 minutes, quick in and out, have fun, and move on. So
very fun.
Yeah.
Start touring in the States and then festivals galore in Europe, but you're also working on an album too. So busy time for you. What's the steps right now besides preparing for tour? Is any album work or any preparation done yet?
Yeah, and most of that's Eric and Chris.
Okay.
So they knew coming out of the tour in October, Thrash of the Titans had Obituary, Destruction, Nervosa in Europe. Chris was supposed to come out for the holidays, but he had a baby, so he missed that window. And so they had the NAMM convention just happen in January, and I believe Chris just came out. And I spoke to Eric yesterday, and they're like, "Dude, we got about 6 new tracks ready to go." And I'm like, "You got to be kidding me!" They're well on their way making music for the next record.
Gotcha. Are there any bands now or that have been around for a while or new that you would love to work with that you have never worked with before?
Well, first of all, it'd probably be Metallica, because they're the ones that, we came from where they came from, same era. We've never toured with them, I think we shared a stage once in Germany, I believe. So
I think
that would probably be my ultimate first choice. I think it's time.
Yeah. Over the last few years, what is either the craziest or funniest thing you've seen on stage, at a concert, backstage, while playing? If there's one funny story that you like to remember and talk about on the road, what would it be?
We were all sitting on a bus in, I think it was Germany, and fans were coming in, and one fan we thought was a young lady dressed up in a skirt, short skirt, and the whole deal. And come to find out, they flashed us, and it wasn't a lady. Things were dangling, and we were just like, "Oh my God!" I mean, you would have thought it was a woman. So next thing you know, we're on stage, and we're performing, and there she was in the pit. Just one of the lights just happened to fucking like the clouds parted and the sun blasted through, and
on the perfect
spotlight
shot. Yes.
down. Perfect shot, just right down when the skirt was up and the thin dangly bits were there on the fucking pit. And I was like, oh my God, you got to be fucking kidding me.
Your pits are a lot more intense than I thought they'd be. Wow.
Oh yeah.
Okay then. Yeah, that's a great one. Also, it's a good story because no one got hurt, which is also nice to hear too. Awesome.
No one got hurt. The true fan. I'm not judging the fans. True fan right there.
Hey, who cares?
The pit,
yeah.
You know.
Hey, no one got hurt. You got a great story out of it too. So there you go.